Hi everyone. In this video we are going to discuss about concept of storage account access tier, and also we will discuss about the lifecycle management of storage account data. If you want to go through the complete course, you can purchase these courses from my website, that is techlearning.spy.com. All the information is given in the description. If you want to check out the course content, just click on course and click on preview. So left hand side you can see all of the course contents. Other than individual courses, course packages are also available where you can find out the decent discount on these courses. Let's get back to our topic. So lifecycle management is related to your access tier. If you remember, we had discussed about the hot access tier, cool access tier, and the archive access tier. Okay. That time I told you that hot access tier means if you want to access your data frequently, then you go and um, store your data in hot access tier. If you are going to access your data less frequently, then you should store your data in cool access tier. And when you are just storing your data just for the storage purpose, or once in a year or once in 2 years, like if you want to access your file, then you select the archive access tier. So what is the reason behind it? So there are two parts. One is access tier, second is the lifecycle management. There are two topics here. So right now, ignore this one, lifecycle management, because if we have the understanding of these access tiers and the logic, what we are discussing, then only we can understand about the lifecycle management. Okay, we will cover it up after this topic of the access tier. Now, why this logic has been defined that based on frequency, you select your access tier. The reason is pricing here. Now, we need to understand how this pricing is going to impact you. Okay. So whenever you store any data in the hot access tier, let's say you are storing 1000 GB data inside your storage account. Okay. And you are uploading that data as a hot access tier. So what will happen in that case? The monthly charge will be $20.880 here, average per month charges. And this is like a fixed charge for the 1000 GB. So there are two things. Whenever you store data inside the storage account, either you will retrieve the data or you will write the data in the storage account, right? Retrieval means you are going to access the data. Writing means you are putting some data inside that. So right now, suppose you stored 1000 GB data, and out of this 1000 GB, if you are trying to retrieve some data from here, so there are no charges. Okay, you can see $0 per GB, the charges are $0. Even data write charges are also per GB $0 here. Okay, so that is the reason it is said that whenever you want to frequently access data, you choose the hot access tier, because for accessing data, there are no charges at all. You are supposed to pay one time payment, okay, or the monthly one time charge. And in that charges, you can access your data as many as time what is required for your work, but there will be no charges from the Azure end. But same thing if I do in hot cool access tier, okay, 1000 GB of data you are storing in a storage account, let's say, and you had selected a cool access tier in this case. You can see for the same amount of data, the charges are less, $15.20 here. And this is a monthly charge, correct? But there is a catch here. Whenever you want to access any data out of this 1000 GB, you have to pay the money. And how much money you have to pay for the data retrieval? If you are accessing just 1 GB, you have to pay $0.010. This much amount you have to pay. And if you want to access whole 1000 GB data, so you can multiply it by 1000, because this is per GB charge. For 1 GB, it is this much. And if you want to access 1000 GB, multiply it by 1000. So this will be the cost. Extra $10 you have to pay if you want to access whole 1000 GB of data here. Correct? So that is the reason it is said that if you have less frequently data, means a data which you want to access less frequently, you should store in the cool access tier, because the storage charges are less
And whenever you are accessing any file, just pay for that file. Let's say you are accessing 2 GB, just pay for 2 GB. You have to pay $0.020 for that. Okay. But if you put any data which you are trying to access very very frequently and you store it in the cool access tier, then this access tier will become very costly for you, because every time you have to pay this much amount for per GB data. Okay. So this is a fixed price 15.20 plus whatever data you are trying to retrieve on per GB basis, you have to pay the amount here. Correct? I hope the difference between hot access tier and the cool access tier is clear in this. The third option is the archive access tier. In case of archive access tier, you can see that if you like to store 1000 GB of data, the charges are only $0.99, even not a single dollar also. So per month you are supposed to pay this much amount, right? But there are multiple catches here. The first catch is that you have to pay for the data retrieval, and here for the data retrieval the charges are high. It is $0.020 per GB. If you compare it with this one, this is 0.010 per GB, and it is almost double here. One thing. So if you want to access whole 1000 GB data, okay, by this rate, you have to pay $20 extra along with this one. Okay, this is one thing. Second thing is that uh, in case of hot access tier and cool access tier, if you want to access any file or any data, it will be available immediately. But here, if you store something inside archive access tier, that data will not be available instantly. Okay. Suppose you need any file, you have to raise a request, and that file will be retrieved after several hours. Okay, it may be more than 10 hours, 15 hours, 24 hours, depend on that. So there are two things here. Either you can retrieve it with the normal rate, okay, standard rate, or if you need that file urgently, you can raise a archive high priority retrieval request here. Okay. So if you raise a high priority request, in that case, your file will be available. But in this case also, it will take at least 2 3 hours. In first case, it may take more than 10 15 hours, but here it will take 2 3 hours, and the charges are high here. The charges is around $0.100 per GB. Okay. And if you see that for data writing, for storing the data, there are no charges. When you store any data, there is no charges. Okay, but for the storage for 1000 GB, you have to pay this much amount. Okay, now what is the meaning of this? This is not available and this is available. Let me show you through the practical, then you have a better understanding of this one. So now I have one storage account already with me. And what I'm going to do, let's click on upload. And before that, you can see all of these are your hot access tier. I have uploaded them as a hot access tier. In bracket, it is written as inferred because on my storage account also the access tier is set as hot, and by default it picked up this access tier. Correct. So this version.txt, let's say it is a hot access tier file, and if you want to retrieve it immediately, you can retrieve. You can see the data of this file. If you want to download it, you can download this one. So when I'm accessing this file right now, there are no charges from the Azure end because this is in the hot access tier. Unlimited time I can access this file. I'm just supposed to pay a one-time fee to the Azure for the storage, right? But let's say if I uh, open this one, click on change tier and change the access tier now. From hot to cool, you have made it. So what is going to happen in this case? Now you can see the file access tier has been changed here from hot to cool. In case of cool access tier also, you can access this file anytime. You can see that data is available. If you want to download this file, you can download it on your laptop also. So this is frequently available, means immediately available, I mean to say that. But the charges will be different because this time when I'm accessing this file, Azure is charging on me. Okay, what are the charges? I told you per GB there are $0.010. So right now I have to pay the money for this one, and billing is getting generated in the backend because it is a cool access tier, right? Now let's say if you are uploading any file and click on upload, okay, click on advance. This time I'm going to upload this file in archive access tier, fine, and click on upload here. Now you can see the upload is done and the access tier is set to archive here. So when it is set to archive, and if you want to access this file, okay, go to edit and try to see the content. See, you are getting this option that this request is not authorized to perform this operation using this permission. Means when you store any data in archive access tier, you cannot access it immediately. Let's say if you want to access it now. So what is the process? You have to select this one and then you have to click on change tier. Means if you want to access it, first you have to change the access tier from the archive to hot or cool. Based on your requirement, you can change it. So let's say I'm selecting it, then click on change tier and now change the access tier from archive to hot so that I can access it. So when I'm changing it, you can see there is an option called rehydrate priority, and there are two options here. One is standard and second is high. So if I select the standard, it will take its own time, around 10-15 hours it takes, and the charges also I told you in this PPT. The charges is around this much 0.020. Okay, but if you need this file immediately, so what will happen? You can click on high here. Okay, and when you select high, the charges are different. The charges are around you can see around 1 second. This is archive access tier. This is the charges for the high priority, $0.100 per GB. So this much amount I'm supposed to pay on the per GB basis. Let's say I'm saying the priority is high here. Okay, it means I have to pay more money and I need this file immediately. Okay, on the priority basis, click on save, and now you can see still this access tier is archive here. Okay, it is not changed immediately, it is still showing as archive. And if you want to open it and click on edit, it is still saying that you are not authorized to access this file. So what will happen? I have raised a high priority request, so it may be available after 2 or 3 hours. And what will happen after 2 or 3 hours? Your data, okay, so this archive access tier will change to hot access tier. Okay, after 2 or 3 hours, once it is changed to hot access tier, you can access your file. Okay, so everything is related to pricing here, and based on price, actually these access tier has been set. With hot access tier, different pricings are there. Cool access tier, different pricing, and archive access tier, different pricing models are included. Now, that is the reason, let me repeat once again, that is the reason I said if you want to access any file very frequently, if you need it onto daily basis and hour to hour basis, you store that data as a hot access tier because there are no charges for the data retrieval. Okay, but if you need any file means immediately it should be accessible, but you just need once in 2 month or 3 month or once in a month kind of scenario, you can go with the cool access tier because storage charges will be reduced. Whenever you want to access any particular file, just pay for that. Okay, in that way the overall cost will be reduced. But suppose you just want to store some data, you are doing some project, and there is a contract that that data should be saved for 1 year, 2 year, 10 years. So in that case you can use the archive access tier. You are just using it for the storage purpose, and that is the reason the charges are very less. But suppose if you need any particular file, so Azure has given you the option to retrieve it also, but charges are included and also the time is also included. It can not be accessed immediately. Now, What can be the real time case scenario for this access tier? So let me take one example. Suppose you are working on some project. Okay. On that project, you need set of files. For first month, there are a couple of files. Those are very important, and day to day basis, you are using those files. So what you can do, you can upload those file in your storage account with hot access tier, right? Because you are using those file on day to day basis. Let's say after 1 month you realize that okay, these files are no more required, and at least not required on the frequent basis. So to save the money, what you can do, because the charges in the hot access tiers are high for the storage charges, those are high in the hot access tier. So what you can do, you can move this file into the cool access tier. Okay, so move them into the same file, you move into the cool access tier here. So let's say you kept it there for 1 month, and now you are realizing that you are not using these files at all, but at least you need it. You need these file for 1 year just for the reference purpose. So you can do one thing, because in cool access tier also the charges are included, storage charges are there, and whenever you are retrieving that file, that charges were also included. So what you will do now, because you are not using these files at all, and sometime once in a while you need one or two files just for the reference purpose, and but also you want to keep it at least for 1 year, because the project what you are working on, that it the files may require any time, and you think that 1 year time is good enough. So what you can do, after 1 month, 1 month you kept here. After this 1 month, you moved it into the cool access tier, and then after 1 month, you moved it to the archive access tier, and you want to retain it for 1 year. It means 365 days, and after 365 days, you want to delete all these files. After 1 year, you think that it is not required, so you can just go ahead and delete those files. So what are the benefit of this? The benefit of this is that you can manage your data in a way that you can save money for your company. So it is, I'm not talking about 1 GB, 2 GB. If you are dealing with like 50 TB of data, 100 TB of data, or 100 GB of data also, right? So it is going to make a very big impact on the costing part. So, but if you do all this thing manually, it is a very difficult job and complicated job to tracker each and every file, and moving it from the hot access tier to the cool access tier, then from cool to archive access tier, right? So manually, if you will try to do it, it is very complicated and hectic job. You need a dedicated person who is doing only this task, right? So what Azure has given you, Azure has given an option of the automation that is called lifecycle management. So life cycle management, what we will do in that, we will create one rule, and we will define these conditions that for 1 month data should be in a hot access tier. After 1 month, it should be moved automatically to the cool access tier, and it should remain there for 1 month. And after that, it should automatically move to the archive access tier, and it should remain there for 1 year, and then it should be deleted automatically. So I want this to be done on the automatic basis, and in lifecycle management, I will set a rule for that. Now, how to set a rule on that? To do that, come to your storage account. In a storage account, you will have an option called lifecycle management here. So click on lifecycle management. So when you click on this lifecycle management, you have an option called add a rule. So click on this, and now mention the rule name, rule 1. Now it is asking what is the scope of your rule. You want to apply this rule on whole of your storage account, because in a storage account there will be multiple containers, so automatically it will be applied on everything. Or if you just want to limit to a particular block here. Okay, so I'm going to select the second option. I do not want to apply it on whole storage account. So I will choose one specific container. So I have selected limit blobs with filters, this option. Now what and all you want to include in this scope? So blob or append blob. Okay, if you want to include the append blob also, you can check it. And you just want to include base blob, or you want to include the snapshot and the versions also. So if you will select this version, so versions will also be added with your files. Snapshot, if you have taken any snapshot, that will also be added with your file here. Right now I'm just going with the default option. Okay, go and click on next. So it is now try to understand the logic of this rule here. Okay, so it says that whenever I upload my data, automatically it will be in my hot access tier, and I'm saying it should remain there for 30 days. In bracket it is written as 30 day, so it should remain for the 30 days. After that, what you want to do then, if it is there for 30 day, where you want to push it? So you can see that there are three options given here: move to cool storage, move to archive storage, and delete the blob. So I'm saying that when I upload any data, that should be in cool hot access tier. By default, it will take it up. After 30 days, it should be moved to my cool storage. Fine. Now click on this add if and then block once again. Okay, come down. Now I want to set a condition that once my data is there in cool access tier for 30 days, okay, after that, then what I supposed to do? I'm saying only two options are available now. Move to archive storage now. Clear? Add one block once again, if and then block. So in last one, I have moved it to the archive storage. Now I'm saying let it be there for 365 days for 1 year. After that, then delete the blob. So after 365 days, the blob will be deleted. So when you now you can see that this option has been grayed out, because after delete, what you will do? You can't do anything. So this is grayed out, right? So this is how you can define the flow of your files from one access tier to the other's access tier here. Fine. So now then click on next. Here it is asking me about my storage account as well as the container where I want to apply it, filter set, because I said that I do not want to apply this rule on the whole storage account. So I just want to apply it on a container, and the container name in my case is demo here. So this is my storage account name. So mention it in the way like this one, LH storage 100, and then slash, and then mention the name of your this one container, and then click on add. If you want to apply more than one container, you might have observed that there was one more tab there. If you want to include more than one container, you can mention that container name also. Now this rule has been created as well as a status is enabled. So automatically whenever I upload any data in this storage account in my demo container, so this rule is going to apply on that. And what is this rule? This is what we have declared or defined in this rule, that so automatically things will happen for you. And this is very very important when we are dealing with a large amount of the data, and it save a significant amount of money for you. Okay, and it play a very critical role in your day to day life. When we discuss about the costing part, go to Google and type here Azure pricing calculator. So this is a pricing calculator here. Suppose you want to calculate the price of any of the service. Okay, you can calculate from this portal here, and this is an official portal or official calculator given by the Azure. This is not a third party calculator. Now, how to use this calculator here? Let me use the storage account because right now we are doing the storage account. This is fresh in your mind, so you will have the better understanding. You can see all of these services are included here. Even left hand side, you can select anything. If you want to check the charges of VPN gateway, virtual network, load balancer, Azure DNS, so you just supposed to select the service first. Okay, which service um, you want to check in term of the money. Okay, if I come to compute, these are the options available. If I go to featured, these are the services given here in the featured section. So suppose I'm checking this storage account. So click on storage account here and scroll it down. Here you can see the detail of your storage account, and these are the cost here. So how you can use it? First of all, check the region where you want to deploy this storage account and what type of storage account actually you are going to deploy. This is a blob service, file storage, table storage, queue storage, data lake storage generation too. Right? Suppose this is block storage only. Then what is your performance tier, premium or standard? Because the pricing is going to change. If you set a different option, let's say, as I told you earlier, that standard will be less costly compared to the premium. In premium, we use the SSD disk. In case of standard, we just use the normal disk here. So you can choose this one. Even you here you can see the redundancy options are available. With different redundancy option, different pricings are calculated. Okay, LRS and access tier also. If you choose the hot access tier or the cool access tier, pricing will be different. Now, how much data you are planning to place? Let's say you said 100 GB. What is your subscription model? You just want to pay based on your consumption, or you want to reserve it for 1 year or 3 years? If you reserve it for 3 years, the charges will be little less because you are buying the storage for the next 3 years. So they will give you some discount here. Same thing with 1 year, pay as you go means you will get the normal charges. And here you can see that base of data. You can increase or decrease this data from GB to TB also you can convert. And based on that, this data has been calculated here. The data which I used in my PPT, that is the estimated data. That is not a real data actually. Okay. For a particular region, for some particular services, I had calculated that data just to explain you the concept of the hot access tier, cool access tier, or archive access tier. But if you want to see the real time, what are the current charges of the storage, you can come to this Azure pricing calculator. You can mention the required information and then you can calculate your data here. So you can see this is given in very detail, uh, and just go through this portal, fill up the information and try to calculate the data or the pricing based on the different options. So what happened instead of central US, if 1000 GB you take in central India region, so what is the difference in the pricing? Okay, so you can test it by your own because charges will different from one region to other region, one service to other service, one option to other options. So that you always have to keep in your mind.